Hi, this is Dorothy Smith, and I am going to show you a stitched together layout that is courtesy of the cutting guide of one of the other consultants, Shirley Bean Ross. And I am very grateful for her to do that. So these are the papers, and they're really beautiful papers. Today is the last day for these papers, and it comes with a really nice sticker sheet. I'm just going to go ahead and take off all the zip strips, and I am going to alter the layout just a bit with the color. I am going to use the floral background instead of the kind of quilt look background, which is sort of the namesake of the paper, but I love flowers. And I may use some of the mix-ins. I'm not positive, but I'll go ahead and remove those zip strips. And we'll see. I'm going to be working on the fly. I kind of decided that the pink, which I'm using that special paper from the Blue Skies. This is the coordinated cardstock from Blue Skies. And, you know, it's just absolutely gorgeous with that kind of embossed look. It's a UV coating is what it is, but it kind of looks like it's been embossed. Anyway, it's beautiful, and I thought I would use that on as some of the papers. So I'm just doing some backgrounds for three by 4 photos. So they're like 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, just to give a slight edge to the photo. And there's another one for the 3 by 4. I'm definitely going to use that. And I cut this pink because I thought that the pink looked really good with the floral background. So this is pieces that are 10 1/2 by 10 1/2 square as a background for the central page. So I'm just kind of going through and doing the cuts. You kind of see that's like a 10 1/4 by 10 1/4 square. So that's going to be on the inside of the pink at 10 1/2 by 10 1/2. And then that is, of course, 12 by 12. And so the only problem, I love the pink, but I thought it was okay, but when you see how little of it shows, it kind of doesn't stand out enough, in my opinion. So I end up changing the color. Now this is I believe 9 1/2 by 9 1/2 square that I want to cut in the paper cutter, the paper trimmer, but it's really just a tad too big. And so I'm going to have to get my straight edge and my cutting mat to cut these. So if you notice, there's diagonal lines on the cutting mat. Now if you line up the corners to the diagonal lines, then you're going to get a perfect, I guess, a 45-degree angle cut. So I'm just kind of holding the paper in place with some washi. So it isn't just good for inches. It's perfect for this diagonal cut. I will remind you that our cardstock is very thick, and so you really, really have to press hard to get a cut. So my first cut was not nearly as hard as I didn't press nearly as hard as I should have. It just barely dented it. And I was pressing hard. There we go. So you can use any kind of straight edge that you like. This happens to be a CRICUT knife, which has really been super handy. I've actually used it quite a bit. So I like that little pink. Now, one thing that you have to watch out for when you're doing diagonal cuts is which way is your design going. And so I end up having to cut another piece of the red because I didn't realize initially that the little design, I wanted the design to go the same way on both pages. See, I'm thinking that it's just not quite bright enough. And so I went and got the rest of the cardstock. And the red really does stick out pretty good, but I try the green, and the green is kind of like, no. And then I try the lagoon. No, it just doesn't. It's just not quite bright enough. And then I try the yellow. Now, the yellow could have worked. That really could have worked. But I went with the red. Because who doesn't love red? But I really thought maybe the yellow. But then I kind of thought that the red looked better with the pieces, the angles, the triangles that are on the inside. And so I'll have to use that pink in another way, maybe on a background that's not quite as bold as this floral background from Stitched Together. It is pretty though, my goodness. So, and I love the way that little red paper looks. I didn't like it at first, but it's really cute when you use it like this. I always end up in that same place, like, well, I didn't quite like it, and then I started using it, and I really like it. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so I am going to do the same thing here. I kind of decided that the mix-in blue was a good, I think it's mix-in, or maybe it's one of the Stitched Together. It might be a Stitched Together cardstock. But I'm going to do the same thing. I took a little hunk of paper off there accidentally. I pulled a little bit too hard and maybe pressed a little too hard on the washi tape. Yeah, that's definitely from Stitched Together. But I will, when you do that, it's the opportunity for an embellishment. So don't worry. So once again, I'm taking advantage of the diagonal lines on the 45 to cut my large triangle. And fortunately, the blue paper here, it doesn't really matter which way it goes. Whereas if I used the stripe on the other side, it would definitely matter which way it was going, and would probably be going the wrong way when I did the layout. So the little dotted blue pattern is very accommodating. And it goes nicely with the little blue flowers on the background. See, I could have used the green there too, but no. Just right. Just right. So I'm good with that. Now this layout was in our catalog on maybe page 19. I don't have it right in front of me. And using the stitched papers with the red background there, it was adorable. I mean, it was really, really attractive. And that's how Shirley did hers. But I just decided to do the floral paper. So even as bold as that paper is, that red just really stands out. So the amount of space, it needs like 3/4 of an inch all around. Just because it was cut at 10.5. So it's 3/4 of an inch all around. And then this is going to be just 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of the red. I'm kind of using the ruler a lot on this. So I'm doing 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of the white. I'm taking my journaling pen and I'm doing a dashed line. So the paper is called Stitched Together. And so there's a lot of stitch marks on the paper and the embellishments that go with this layout. So this is me putting stitching. Now some people actually stitch. That would not be me. I pretty much like doing the stitching with the pen. Now I finally figured out that if I do it this way, then it goes faster. So I put the ruler down and add my dashes on the right-hand side. Much, much faster than the other way around. So you want to have the long side of your triangle, your hypotenuse as it were, and that's going to go along the straight edge of the square. And it comes in just about 1/2 an inch from the edge of the white square. Clearly having a problem. So I'm going in like 1/4 of an inch or maybe 3/8 of an inch and laying it down. And then that one will, so you want to have it so that the triangles are equidistant. So there's the same amount of space as close as you can get between all of the triangles. Going through the tape. I try to get the enough tape on there without just totally going overboard. You definitely want to get the edges. So here we go. And I like that little design. And the little design is very, very cute. So this is a layout that you could totally do with any kind of papers. You know, if you watch me, you know, then always please remember you can use the same cutting scale with different papers. And just, you know, you don't have to even think too much then. You've got, you know, you can kind of collect a group of layouts of patterns that can be used in, you know, so many different layouts. And I'm putting the wrong one down here. I'm wondering why it's not working. It's because I'm putting the white instead of the red. Because what is the matter with me? It's sad. I think I do pretty well when I've got instructions in front of me. It's when I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to be doing that's not so good. So Dorothy, yeah, see, you're being a goofball. This is just embarrassing. Trying to figure out why I have like an inch instead of 3/4 of an inch. It's like, oh my God. Here we go. And she's back on track, and I can't get it straight either. This side was ill-fated. There we go. See, I do pretty good coverage, but I'm not insane with it. But that's up to you. It's what you're comfortable with. I mean, I see ladies that completely cover the entire surface. And, you know, I mean, that gets expensive then. So I'm just trying to adjust. I'm having a hard time with, I don't know why something seems to be crooked here. I must have gotten just slightly off when I cut one of the pieces. It's not that one. That one's fine. That would have been too easy. So in case you think that other people do things perfectly, you need to understand that you may be more perfect than a lot of other people, and just don't even worry about it. You know, this is you're watching me at work, and there's no reason to worry about perfection. Because for me, that's not going to happen. You just want to be careful when you're using a razor blade, because I have cut off a hunk of skin doing cutting like that. Okay, so now see what I'm saying when it comes to the whole triangle thing. You can end up with, you know, your pattern going in the wrong direction. So I haven't figured that out yet. In a minute, I'm going to look at it and go, oh, that's not right. Now see, that one would have been fine if I had not. Put it in the wrong place. I think I could have switched those and it would have been okay. Like I said, I hope that I'm giving you the idea that you don't have to be perfect. But you can still get your pages done, and you can still make corrections to your boo-boos, and everything will be just fine. So this one I'm putting the stitch lines on last rather than first. So I haven't really paid much attention to the fact that the red one is going in a different direction than the left-hand page is different than the right-hand page. And I promise you that little blurb there will be covered up, that little tear in the paper. So I love the colors in those flowers. I love the blues and the soft kind of oranges, pinky oranges. They're very, very pretty. But today is the last day. So, and if you get the paper, then you can come back and look at the video to make a similar layout. And actually in the book, they had just a one-page, they made a one-page layout, which would work fine too, but I decided to make it a two-page and make them the same, which you also don't have to do. You can make 2 pages, one like the left hand, and then do a simpler version on the right-hand side. And so I'm just putting my picture placeholders down on the backgrounds. And I have to work them a little bit to kind of figure out which way to go. Because I want to have the title on the left-hand page, and that will come from the sticker sheet. So what I'm thinking is if I put the journaling card over there, then these can line up. One thing good about the UV paper, the embossed paper, is you can pretty much take your whatever you've stuck on there. It comes off pretty easily. So I'm going to put the the banner at the top of the sticker sheet. I love that friendship. But I'm going to use the banner that says you make good times even better. And actually this layout would be really good for me and my scrapbooking buddy Sylvia, for when we take pictures of each other when we're scrapping together, which we haven't since February. So I used some of that mix-in paper, and that's going to be, it's perfect journaling because it's got lines on it. So it's a perfect little journaling card. And that worked out just fine. I didn't even think about that. So sometimes you don't think, and then all of a sudden you are working with something, you think, oh, wow, hey, look at that. That's like I planned it. And I didn't. So the stickers are nice and thick. Don't have to worry about ripping them because they're so sturdy that, see, and I had to bring that blue flower. That's the same as the flowers on the background paper. So to bring it forward. I finally figure out that the white dots on the red paper are going in the wrong direction. And so I'm going to make another triangle. I hope I get it right. So we want the top to go long ways like that. So when you really are trying to make it work, then that's the thing to do, is to put the design that you are concentrating on, put it up on the top side so you can see what you're doing and you get it right. It's kind of hard to cut, I have to tell you. I'm always kind of amazed at how thick our card, and it's not really cardstock, it's paper, but you know, it's as, I swear it's as thick as the cardstock is. So see, I know that I've got the design going in the right way because I've got the long side, the hypotenuse is going parallel to all the little kind of semi-dots. So I'm just going to pull that one off. And I can use it for something else. I'm just going to set it aside. There we go. See, now that is something that would have driven me crazy if I didn't fix it. There are things that, you know, you go, I wish I had done blah, blah. But this one would have driven me crazy if I didn't change it. So I kind of decided to put the pictures a little bit whopper-jawed from each other. And you see that little red ladybug down at the bottom? That's where the ripped paper is. And so we've got butterflies and little flowers here and there, just a little yellow pop. And these little buttons were part of the stitched together embellishments that would go with the papers. And so I haven't used buttons in years. And these are so cute because they've got little stitch marks on the side of them. And how cute is that? So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'll promise you I'll keep on bringing out some more YouTube videos showing scrapbooking and card making and home decor. And also we do, in fact, I'll be doing a, coming up shortly, a subscription, 2 more subscription layouts that are super easy, and all it requires, absolutely no cutting, just requires adhesive, and that's it. So here's my layout. Here's my buttons. And that's that. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Excuse me. Bye now.